What were the extenuating circumstances? Be more specific.
You had elected officials working against it, saying council was deceiving the people. They tied it in with the John Glenn issue. And it's, like I said, it's hard enough to pass a levy if everybody's supporting it. And then you've got all that working against you, but it was just impossible.
Like, if I sign on and say, yeah, I support this, think it's going to pass just because I support it?
I think we got to.
There's no way.
I think we got to work. I think, like
If you're not coming out against, if you're not coming out against it, it probably would have a running chance.
You see the margin between yes and no on the last vote? There's no way.
But again, I heard the same thing. You guys were deceitful. You know, you got in the paper a few times saying that, and that resonates with you. That's the way it worked. Okay, well, okay. That's just what
that was effective.
If that would have passed, we wouldn't be having this discussion today. The general fund would have $1 million more to operate.
I thought.
Okay.
I thought it was a police levy. I thought the police would have $1 million operating, but
because they're going to take the money out of the police fund.
They were going to take the money out of the. It was going to support the levy. We would have had. We wouldn't have $1 million more, man. We wouldn't have $1 million more. Would we have $1 million more? Yes or no?
It was the way.
Would we have $1 million more? Yes or no?
It was the way you guys presented it.
You don't want to answer, so that's fine. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so.
Caucus, pending legislation, ordinance number 110, 2014. I'm sorry, I'm convening caucus at 7:20. Ordinance number 110, 2014 will be amended again and put back on the agenda for third reading. Ordinance that is the wind and solar energy systems. Ordinance number 17, 2015 is the parking hours on Orchard View. We're leaving this one still tabled for a while. How long are you thinking, Matt?
What's going on?
It's-
Better service.
So let's vote it down. Get it off the
Ready
agenda.
I haven't gotten any complaints since.
I just want to say one thing about that. When everybody comes together and works together, council and residents and even the newspaper, it's amazing what can happen.
Actually, I think we give Jack Moga most of the credit for that one.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that got him moved
Well,
off. I don't know how he did that.
Because a certain
but
gentleman said the wrong thing to Jack.
I give our congressional representative most of the credit.
Okay. So,
Give credit where it's due, but let's get it off the table already.
all right, we'll put it on the agenda, and we're going to vote it down.
I want to know where he's working now, though.
It's got the same route, just doesn't have Orchard yet.
He does?
38, 2000, yeah, we heard that before. 38, 2015, this one is still tabled. This is the compensation for the part-time police officers. We still don't know what other cities pay theirs, so leaving this tabled. Ordinance number 51, 2015. 17, 2015 was just a second reading. Can we vote it down? Make it emergency to vote it down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 51, 2015. This is second reading for the mayor to enter into an agreement with Capital Electronics Federal Signals of Chicago. This is to replace the city's outdoor warning system, which will give us a payback in 2.5 years. Ordinance number 52.
Can we put that emergency, with summer coming, don't we want to get that started?
What reading is this?
This is second reading. Our system works currently.
Well, not all of them.
Okay. Do we want to?
I don't have a problem.
Let's get that in.
Get it done, but
Tis the season, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that in.
Like the one at Calvin out that works at home, or only partially.
everybody supported this, so I don't think there was any problem with doing it emergency. Okay, 52, 2015. This is the second reading for the company that manages our workers' comp claims. And I asked Joe last time, he said it would need to be emergency. 53, 2015 ordinance for the company that's going to do our Mayor's Court Legacy Case Management Software and right to use license. It's a short agenda. Mark's got a question to look on his face.
Is it GBS?
Short Justice Solutions
Okay.
of North Canton for the purpose of performing annual maintenance in support of Mayor's Legacy.
Okay.
Okay, that's all we have on ordinances. Very short agenda. Jeff? Tom?
You got the email, so you know what's coming up for PCB. Just so you know.
Yes,
got it.
I saw your email.
You
Yeah,
saw
I
it.
think I got you.
Okay. One of the things I didn't put on there, and I think Matt and I, we talked about this a little bit, and it's gonna come up on Wednesday, is that I really think at some point here, we've gotta come up with some type of a, I don't know what you call it, split zoning, for lack of a better word, that if somebody has a lot of a certain size, that he ought to be able to put a second garage on that lot. And I'm not even sure how we're gonna go about doing it. If it's an acre, and I think in conjunction with that, I think we gotta get rid of this 45% thing when it deals with a garage, attached garage. In other words, you could put, you got a 2-acre lot, okay? You can put a garage of a certain size, second garage, detached garage, and you can't hold it over our head that if you don't do that, that you're gonna put a garage hooked to your house that's 45% the size of your house. This garage thing, detached garage, this has gotta be the 5th or 6th time this has come around.
Well, what's the question with the 45%?
Even though it's never happened, as you said, one of the things that is frequently threatened is that, well, okay, I'll book a garage to my house that's 45% the size of the house,
Okay.
as opposed to putting on a detached garage. So I think in conjunction with allowing a detached garage on lots of certain size to be determined, we gotta think about that. I think we should eliminate the 45% rule as it pertains to garages attached to houses.
What about the height?
So do you believe that?
Yeah, yeah.
So do you believe that a garage should be able to be larger than the house?
No, right now, isn't the ordinance that you can add an addition to a house as long as it's not 45% bigger than the size of the existing house, right?
It can only be it can be 45% of the house size.
Correct.
It can't be larger than the house.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
All right.
So I shouldn't be able, I'm saying in conjunction with allowing a detached garage on lots of certain sizes, okay, that we shouldn't have a rule there. We should eliminate the rule that says you can add 45% to the house, and that 45% can be an attached garage.
No, that's not how it's written, Tom.
It's written in such a way that you can add 45%.
No, your garage can be 45% of the footprint, the square footage of the
Yes.
house.
Of the house.
And if it's a detached garage, it can only be 860 square feet.
800, yeah.
I thought it was 60. Okay, 800 square feet, no matter what size your house is. So What are you saying? That if it's a detached garage, it should also be allowed to be 45% of your house, and that's what we're going to use?
Well, I'm saying we gotta do some thinking about this, okay?
I'll agree with that.
All right, because it keeps coming up, okay? And, we've gotten more than a few problems with this. I don't see a problem with putting a second detached garage on a lot that's of significant size. We gotta decide what that is. We have the small developments in this town, and then you got huge lots. A fair number of large lots.
Okay,
So I agree, we gotta come to an arrangement as to what that means. And I know that's a
Okay.
problem, okay? But, this whole thing about, not allowing somebody to put in a detached garage, okay, because they have a garage, all right, to me is somewhat ludicrous unless there's a good reason for not allowing it, like the lot's small, okay, or, it's a swamp or something, all right? But one of the things that we've had discussion a number of times is that they would come back and say, well, I can hook it to my house because of the size thing that you're allowed to hook to your house.
it's still an accessory to the house though, by being less than the size of the house.
Right. But what I'm saying is that in this thought process, okay, what I'd like to see is that not having that ability to do that anymore. Okay, in other words, you shouldn't be able to go and hook another garage on your house.
Well,
You've already got one.
Tom, you're chairman of planning and zoning.
Well, I'm
Why don't
talking
you
to
craft
Mark.
some language? Well, yeah, but why don't you craft the language? It's gotta come out of your committee.
I understand that.
Work with Mark on the side to craft some language.
I understand.
And come to the ordinance, and then you can bring it to council.
I
You can bring it to your
understand that,
committee.
but I want to get the ball rolling on
Okay,
the thought
well, until you get
process.
it- He'll get it,
Okay.
he'll start.
Okay. Because like I said, it keeps coming around.
Right.
I mean, every year we got this, every year, right, Matt?
Sure.
Every year,
It's your committee.
So, okay. What? You had a little input in there too that I thought was very relevant, so.
Argued about it previously, but, okay. Tim, do you have anything else, Tom?
No,
Okay.
I do not believe so at this time. Go ahead, Doug.
Matt?
Two things. I previously, past number of years, have asked what or who controls the content of the websites. There's been things on the website that I didn't think was really appropriate to be on the city website, and now on our homepage, we have an article about the mayor adopting a dog. Rick, I don't think that has anything to do with the city. Great, I'm glad you adopted a dog, but I think we need to come up with some kind of control over what goes on this website. And since we have a new website coming, I see this to be an opportunity to do so. So we'll talk about it now or at another point, but I think that needs to be addressed. The second item I have is I've been hearing for a while now from residents that, Jeff, you're moving out of Ward 1. And if that's the case, when are you going to tell us? Because I don't know if you're still going to be on council.
It's not, deals are completed.
Okay. Well, I just heard you tell Mike you're moving June 25th.
It's potentially completed.
So,
So it could possibly still fall through.
okay. It'd just be nice to know.
And there's 30 days, I think we got 30 days to appoint somebody.
So at this point, he is still living in Ward 1.
I understand that, Michelle.
It'll come.
Okay. I just want to make sure we have time to prepare for a vacancy.
I think we have 30 days.
Council has 30 days to appoint.
Why should we-
If they don't, then the mayor appoints.
That's all I have.
And Matt, we did talk about putting legislation in place, and there was not support from council. I think I brought that legislation when I was first on council to match what they did in Independence, and there was not support from council at that time.
Regarding the website.
It was regarding the newsletter, and I think the website was also discussed. I can remember that it was
The
a
newsletter
newsletter.
was, I'm not sure, it was the newsletter that I
So-
recall.
Yeah, we did discuss it.
I think we need to set it again.
I can go back and see if I can't find that from
That'd be good. Thanks.
Internet to Next Rules.
Thank you.
Mike, I have nothing. Jack, okay. Rich?
Oh, thank you.
Tony?
John Walsh did confirm he will be here on the 8th.
At,
6 p.m.
no, on the 8th, that would be
No.
7th.
7th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, unless you want to come at the 15th. Have them come on the 15th.
At
It's
6.
a caucus.
It's entirely up to you guys.
Yeah, because the 8th would be our voting meeting. We only got a half-hour caucus. And I don't want to
Did you already
press them
schedule
for
it?
time.
I did schedule it with him.
We told him to do it on the 8th, an hour ago.
I thought we said 15.
No,
Well,
he did say.
I
Tim
meant we
told
did
him-
tell you to.
Tim
I
told
said
him-
it'll only take 10
Tim-
minutes. Tim
Tim
said it'll take 10
told
minutes.
me
That's
the
fine.
8th,
It's just an
but
open.
Just
just
10
tell him,
minutes.
tell him to come at, just to tell him to come at 7, because we won't be here at 6, unless we want to convene earlier, and I'm okay with that.
It takes a lot of time.
Okay. Yes.
I have one executive session matter involving pending litigation.
Okay, then, let's do the, any residents that have comments, raise your hand, I'll acknowledge you, state your name and address, and your comments, yes.
First comment is, Mr. Barth, is it?
Yeah,
Where do we,
yes, sir.
where do we rate in the city or the county of Cuyahoga as in tax rate?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Our tax rate to other cities, where do we rate in Cuyahoga County? Are we the highest, the lowest? Is Brecksville higher than us? Is
No, we're
Independence
all
higher
two.
than us?
2%.
Our income tax?
Yes.
I believe Parma Heights is higher, Independence is 2%, Brecksville's 2%,
Parma's 2%.
Parma's 2%,
And we're what?
2,
2%.
right now. So a 2.5% would increase us above the cities that are around us, which is.
Parma was 2.5%.
And that
Parma
is,
Heights is.
What they're not telling you though, is that we offer a credit for residents.
right, I understand
I'm
credit.
proposing that we increase the credit from 1.1 to 1.6.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, it's significantly different than just increasing the rate.
Gotcha.
The
And the
residents,
reason we're trying to push a levy is that would only impact working people. A levy impacts everybody because everybody gets city services.
I think to be honest with you, it wouldn't pass.
No, I don't think it will pass either unless everybody supports it.
No, because there's too much, too many people against the city right now. There is. You know, I mean, I've walked the streets for a year now, talking to old people. I live on Karen Drive, 6839 Karen Drive, and there's nothing but old people there. And I guarantee you that street, they're very unhappy. I'd like to make one more comment about the ordinance of parking trailers and mobile homes and stuff in people's driveways. Is now starting to increase more. Come down Cherry Lane and stuff, you're starting to see it now. People showed you a hardship, you said. If they show you a hardship, do they also show you their income? They should have showed their income. Hardships always have to show income.
When they apply for their variances.
The law director or the mayor should be able to see their income.
I think we have rights to ask for that, do we, Mark?
Money's not a consideration on a variance.
Then that shouldn't be a variance. It shouldn't be a hardship. It shouldn't be called a hardship then.
Well, hardship means if you can't park it somewhere else, that's considered a hardship. If you got some
It was not a
extenuating
financial
circumstances. It's
hardship.
not a financial hardship. It's a financial hardship as far as restrictions to the property, et cetera.
That should be.
I'm giving you the definition of a hardship.
Right, right. I think that should be opened up again.
It's
I really
actually
do.
practical difficulty.
We
The
can't.
hardship part is.
The variance has been
Go on
approved.
from
We
that.
can't take it back from them now. We can't do that. I don't believe, Rich, you can't take away a variance that has been approved.
I'm gonna look into that, because I think you can. Because that's a bunch of bull. You see boats laying in people's driveways. I see construction equipment sitting in people's backyards on Southern Hills Boulevard. I mean, we running the city or we running the city dump? Because that's what it's turning into. And that's what I'm saying. That's, I talk to a lot of people, and everybody thinks that the city's just going downhill quickly. That's why I made my comment last week that you guys have all these signs up and welcome to the city of beautiful Seven Hills. Stay on the perimeter of it, you're beautiful. Come to the middle of it, it's like you're going down. I still think you can take a variance back. I think it could be also, if we voted in, it could be voted out. That's just my opinion.
You're talking two different things. You're talking variances and you're talking ordinances. Those are two different things.
Okay, just variance then.
The variance.
The variance-
The variances are, the ones for the mobile homes are temporary variances, correct, Mark?
Well, they were conditional on having that mobile home or a similar size.
So they don't have to apply for it every year?
RV or a similar sized RV.
So they don't have to apply for it every year?
No.
As I recall, it was for that property owner, for that vehicle, and that size vehicle on that property. In other words, it was limited to the specific owner, the specific vehicle, and the specific piece of property.
That's correct.
So now, you're saying that everybody should have came up and asked for the hardship?
Not the hard, he's saying
Practical
practical difficulties. It's not called a
Was
hardship anymore.
the condition that they applied for the
That was one
variance on?
specific
Right.
variance. So it is
But-
just that one piece of property.
So why is everybody else doing the thing?
Everyone had to apply for themselves.
No. I think he's saying that there are other people that are parking their vehicles where they're not supposed to be parked, and we are not doing anything to
Think
stop
about it.
that. If you want to make a complaint, sir, the building department will look into it and see whether they are
Oh, I don't have a
following the
problem with that.
ordinances.
I don't have a problem with that.
So, okay. Next, S. Tom.
Question for the mayor. I'm reading the Seven Hills Reporter here. I guess for part of council too. This ordinance, the 114-2005, that took the money away from the infrastructure designation just for infrastructure. Took it away, put it in the general fund. What was the logic? What was the vision? What was going to be accomplished by keeping that money from being used specifically for infrastructure and putting it into the general fund?
But you're talking about 10 years ago, so I don't recall the specific discussion that went on, but I do recall it was felt that it was better to have everything in the general fund rather than having two separate funds. That much I do recall.
So it didn't, the money before that had to go to streets?
I
Had to
don't
go to
recall
street
that
repair.
discussion. I don't recall that. That's 10 years ago.
Okay. All right, maybe I'll give you a chance to research it or something, or can you?
To what point? What would be the point?
I mean, there gonna be some minutes from back then or whatever that shows the discussion, or
But what would
would that
be
be
the
a
point of
caucus
it?
deal?
What's the point of the discussion? The money is there.
One of the question was, why did council make the change? Why did we take that money away from that specific use
Again,
Yeah,
I don't
put it
know
in
that
the
that's the
general
case.
fund.
I don't know that that's the case, but it was 10 years ago.
Okay. I'll ask it again another time. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank Mr. Park and Jack for trying to fix my hole in that tree lawn.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've been around a long time. It's good to get done. It's good to get done.
So I think we're close to getting
Yeah.
some resolution.
My pleasure. It was an eyesore, and I'm glad that you don't really get around.
Just so everybody knows, Jack and I met the water department, the deputy commissioner came out and looked at it, so, you weren't home that day, but
Yeah.
the
my wife
deputy
was-
commissioner came out.
Good.
Thanks for your help.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Related to TIFs. As far as I know, there's 2 TIFs in the city. I try to look up the basis and the wording and the ordinance for the TIF, and I drew a blank. But somewhere there has to be an ordinance that states the terms of an agreement for the particular TIF and the basis for the TIF, that it serves a public purpose. Most cities put this into an ordinance, and I couldn't find any ordinance like that.
Checked with Carol.
I didn't, I should. This goes back a little way, because this issue is gonna come up again, because I'm pretty sure whatever's being done at Rockside Corridor is gonna involve the TIF.
She could find the ordinance for you.
The work that's, like the traffic light is going to be done by TIF.
No. The issue of the TIF comes up because
Oh.
it involves the school district, and
Yes.
Right.
it's gonna be a major issue when you start developing that, if that ever happens, the developing the Rockside Corridor, because that was one of the things that killed the Slyman. I think it was Slyman, that was.
You want to explain that statement?
Oh,
That killed this
Yeah,
Simon
the
deal. You want to
Farmer
explain
School
that statement?
District did not agree to the original
true. That's
Rockside
not-
Terrace.
That's
That's not
false.
true at all.
They did agree.
They did?
That's not true at all.
Yeah.
Did- Okay.
You guys come up with statements, I don't know where you get them.
There's a $9 million lump sum payment agreed to.
They did agree
They
to
did
it?
agree to it, yes.
Okay, that's just another piece of bad information. I got some very
Add it to
bad
the pile.
information.
You can
Add
get
it
a
to
lot
the
of bad
pile.
information.
I got some very bad information from,
You don't have to identify who, but that's false. There was an agreement with the school board.
And the workers' comp claims, when people do go on workers' comp, are they mandatory drug tested and pee tested? Okay.
We actually have an ordinance that states that.
Anybody else?
Just so you know, we met with the school board on New Year's Eve, because, no, there's no problem, that we met with the school board, representatives of the school board on New Year's Eve, because we had a time crunch to get the TIF done. And it got passed by the school board, so you can check with them too.
okay. It's Crane's business, incidentally, that had the information. They had some other information that was absolutely incorrect about that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I want to bring up our situation on Hickory Lane, which Jack knows about. We have pictures here of flooding, big time.
Every time it rains more than 10 minutes, it's like a river. You want to see a picture?
I brought pictures to him, and it's like never ending. And this has been for a while.
I gave them to the engineer. Looking into that.
I mean, it's like
What's flooding back, front, basement?
Everywhere.
Everything.
Everything.
Okay.
It's like a lake if you want to see.
Yes, please.
we're the last house on Hickory Lane.
This is
Just
And this has been brought up many
this
times.
is potential executive.
This has been ongoing.
We've been dealing with this for a while.
Is this going into your basement too, or?
It goes to
Well-
my basement, family room, it goes everywhere.
This
I have records going back,
Show
and nothing's done. Yes.
A lot of water came down.
Yeah,
Is that this weekend?
Yes.
yeah, it's whenever it's real heavy. It's like,
So you and
it's
Jim,
terrible.
you and Jim are looking into this?
Yeah, but we've been looking into it for
It's,
how long?
Okay.
We have,
Yeah,
we have a new
There's gotta be a
engineer
history,
and a
there's a
new
history.
service department head, so let's give them some time to work on this. Okay.
how long? Another 20 years?
Hmm?
Jack has been very responsive to the residents.
Maybe 30?
Yeah, I remember,
Yeah, we've been there 20 years. There'll be another 20. By then, our house will be sinking into the ground. And they wonder why we don't have any faith in the city.
They're part of the problem.
Who's responsible, Jack, for the sewers that run behind our houses? Like I live on the top of the hill on Karen, and it's like the starting of a creek. And at the bottom there's a city sewer down there. It's filled with leaves. Who's responsible for that?
Is it in a city easement? Is it right in front of the
You know
street?
what? No,
Is it
no, no.
someone's
It's behind.
backyard?
It's in our backyard. It's between our houses.
Unless there's a city easement, the residents are responsible.
I think it is.
Yeah, right, right.
But that would be the same thing because there's a lot of flooding there too. Luckily, everybody's houses are off.
Yeah.
Wow, if you look at it, it's wrong.
That's our planning and drowning commission.
Yeah. We'll be driving down with us.
Jack, you'll keep in touch with them?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm gonna call him to come up here. Yeah, I'll work with the engineer.
Okay.
When's the last time we cleaned out that detention basin?
Who knows
The
when?
one at Denny Hickory?
Yeah.
We redug it.
Well, we did it once, how many, I can't remember, has it been 4 years now?
Nothing needed to be cleaned. It was the magnitude of water that came down this weekend.
I just know the last time we did it, it helped. I don't.
It did?
I mean, I went through those pipes from one end to the other, went through it, and not clogged or nothing. It's okay. Too much water coming down.
I mean, they did that detention basin, but they didn't dig it deep enough. I'm gonna put a fence on Law to go out that way. And those residents will be getting mad at us.
No, it's pretty bad. You know?
Yeah,
It looks very bad.
yeah, it is.
But Jack is going to work with the engineer. We actually, I mean, if there was,
I know, I mean, it's.
and I appreciate you coming, but
We want
Jack
Jack
is
in
our
the city,
service.
but nothing's being done. I mean, I've lived there 20-some years and nothing's being done.
I've been there
Yes,
10
yes,
years,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And we like it here, I mean, we like our street. You can take the water route somewhere else, you know? Like,
I don't know what can be
I
done,
know.
but the engineer and the service director will
Yeah,
look
not
at
a-
this.
Not a detention basin, digging it deeper than that.
Anything else? Okay, then I'm going to make a motion to go, why are we going in?
The Benghazi litigation.
Okay, going to make a motion to go into executive for pending litigation,
Last call.
existing
Nothing.
litigation. Do I have a second?
Second.
This touches on this, actually.
Matt?
Eastern or western?
Yes.
But nothing's being done. I didn't.
sorry.
They
Yes,
had some
aye.
reason.
Yes.
They had something they
Aye.
were doing.
Okay. Who do you want in for this?
It doesn't matter. I mean, all the
Okay.
elected and appointed officials can stay.
All right, we will not be discussing any other business after this. We will be adjourning, so, you guys wanna go home and have the rest of your evening? Have fun.
Chris will be in touch.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I speak to you.
Yeah.
Mark, after we very much.
You should probably, because some of this is gonna touch on this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll let them know.
You better tell them.
It's just not the way. They have to go past the road.
Yeah,